You can look, but you can't touch. The Bella twins used that twin magic to navigate a time when WWE was transitioning out of the bra and panties era and into the diva era. They really hit their stride on Total Divas, and while they never totally burned it down in the ring, the Bellas had a massive, lasting impact on World Wrestling Entertainment and the women's division. So this is the life and times of the Bella twins.
I love that opening part. You can look, but you can't touch.
You can look.
I mean, it fits their dynamic perfectly, man. Like, I didn't know what to think of them. I wasn't watching the product when they came around. Like,
Nikki,
initially. Like, when I came back, they were in it, or in the thick of it. But I didn't. I had to go back and watch their debuts and things like that. But, like, not a good time for the women's division at all. But they weathered the storm and were around for the beginning of the revolution.
Yep, absolutely. Nikki and Brie Bella, born Brianna Monique Garcia Colas and Stephanie Nicole Citsenia Colas.
What a name. What names, dude.
They were born 16 minutes apart in California, November 21st.
They put off Cali vibes. I get that.
1983. They were raised on a farm outside of Scottsdale, Arizona. They are of Mexican and Italian heritage.
Hey.
The Garcia twins. They were big soccer players growing up. Nikki actually played for Grossmont College. Played college for Grossmont.
College athlete. Good for her.
Yeah, they both worked at Hooters.
Oh, of course.
They worked.
Wonder if they worked with Liv.
They worked some marketing jobs. And they were on a reality show called Meet My Folks.
I looked into that, and apparently it was like a reality show based off of like a Meet the Parents kind of thing, where before you even go on like a date, you meet the.
Wasn't that on MTV or something?
That was
Meet My Mom.
No, that was the
Date
parental guidance. That was when they picture people for you. That was so bad. I thought they also had
like Date My Mom or something.
Oh, so bad.
Yeah. They did a 2006 Diva search, and they actually did not make it.
That's crazy to think.
In 2006, they didn't make the cut. But fear none. June 2007, not too long ago, or not too long later, I should say, they signed a developmental deal, and they were sent to FCW.
As they all were.
3 months later, on September 14th, 2007, they made their debut, defeating Natty and Chrissy Vane, who really just never made it. And that's okay.
She had a debuting segment on SmackDown, but then disappeared.
Yeah. From the jump, again, they used that twin magic, switching with the ref, or they would switch out to fool the ref, when
One
it came
would
to
be
like
hiding
tag
under
matches and things like that. Or
they'd be hiding under the ring.
Yeah, the ref wouldn't see them, and they would be able to swap places. They started managing Derek Lincoln.
I have no idea who that is.
No idea who that is, because he was released a month later.
That's why.
Okay. But they would stay in FCW for about a year. But they would debut on August 29th, 2008 on the main roster.
There you go.
Brie Bella would defeat Victoria in her debut.
Because we didn't know they were we knew they were twins, but they were selling it as one person at the beginning.
Oh,
They're like, it's just Brie Bella.
Oh, I love that.
And then all of a sudden she'd switched with Nikki under the ring, and people were like, wait, what?
Yeah. So each match they would use that twin magic. That would be the special move. On the November 7th episode, it was revealed that the Bellas are actually twins, and Nikki Bella is introduced. So we didn't know them at all, really, at this point, because you don't have, like, the internet and stuff, so they could really pull a big reveal like that. That's really
right.
huge.
Yeah, you couldn't go digging up. Like, are they twins? Fun fact, Freddie Prinze Jr. wrote their first match.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Good for that.
Yeah.
Love Freddie Prinze.
Yeah.
They'd compete in tag matches throughout the rest of 2008. They would develop a relationship with the Colognes. Then Miz and Morrison would start taking them out on Valentine's Day. 2009.
Got mixed up in a little triangle.
Which would then start that feud with the Colognes. Eventually, Brie picked Carlito and Primo. Nikki would stay with John and Miz.
Wow. Little
choosing sides.
divisive. Okay.
They would have a singles match together March 31st, 2009. Quick come up.
Yeah, they're like, let's split them up immediately.
Nikki would pin Brie in that singles match.
Have you always felt like it's funny to see that Brie debuted first? Because I personally feel like they've always leaned towards Nikki.
Yeah, I feel like they've always leaned towards Nikki.
You know?
Absolutely. This match would be happening on ECW. And this would be all come from distractions. From The Miz and Morrison, they'd all kind of be involved.
Gotcha.
In the 2009 draft,
of course,
Twin Magic is reunited. They both end up on Raw. But then they're traded to ECW in June, which is weird. Makes no sense.
So much for the draft, huh? This is why we don't trust the draft.
And they would feud with Katie Lee Burchill.
I hear that name a lot, but I wasn't watching the product back then,
either.
so I'm not quite sure. But you hear a lot of her name pop up, so I might have to do some digging on who Katie Lee Burchill is.
Then in October, traded back to Raw.
Of course,
for whatever reason.
Why not? Katie Lee Burchill was winter in TNA, and she had a much better run.
Makes sense. Yeah, June 2010, they'd start a short feud with Jillian Hall. This would be around the...
She had a decent run in the late 2000s.
Yeah. The Bellas would mentor a diva in the all-female third season of NXT. But their diva was the first eliminated, Jamie.
Can you imagine how bad that was?
Yeah.
Back when, with all due respect, women's wrestling just wasn't there. And so I can't imagine an entire NXT season dedicated to that. Ugh.
November of that year, they start fighting for the affection of one Daniel Bryan.
Oh, this is when old Daniel Bryan comes into play.
But he will squash it. He will say, stop. Okay. You guys need to get along. And he makes them get along.
Daniel Bryan always being the calmer head.
Mm-hmm. January 2011, Daniel Bryan upsets both of them when they find him kissing Gail Kim.
I hate that Gail Kim didn't take off in WWE, man. She's like the face of women's wrestling in TNA.
Yeah.
She had some great matches with ODB and Awesome Kong over in TNA, man. So I hate she didn't work out in WWE.
Yeah, but this would cause the Bellas to feud with Gail Kim throughout the Rumble.
Fair enough.
Eve Torres would then join this feud in February.
Eve Torres.
Then on April 11th, 2011, Monday Night Raw, Brie Bella goes against Eve Torres for the Divas title. Brie Bella wins her first ever Divas title.
They let Brie debut first and gave her the first championship. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Twin Magic would get him again at Over the Limit. They would beat Kelly to retain that women's they're
the champs. Got to go right back to what works, the bread and butter.
So they're pulling it out. June 20th, 2011, we get a Power to the People edition of Raw.
Oh, this is Laurinaitis, isn't it? Power to the people.
Brie would have had the title for 70 days. At that point, she loses.
This is when I started coming back around
to Kelly.
To wrestling.
Mm-hmm. They'd have a rematch at Money in the Bank in July.
Okay.
She'd lose. Kelly retains.
Kelly as a Divas champion. My goodness. That just shows you the women's division at that time. Eve Torres. She won the title from Eve Torres and lost it to Kelly. Oh!
For the rest of 2011, barely used, honestly. Yeah. There's a disagreement between the Bellas and AJ Lee at Mania 28, but, really no match ever takes place between
of course.
AJ and Brie. April 6th, 2012. Let's fast forward.
Wow, it's used so sporadically, and that's a big amount of time.
Nikki goes against Beth Phoenix, who's the champion at that time.
Finally, a woman's wrestler.
In a non-title match. Nikki would win. But she doesn't win the title. It's a non-title match. So this sets up a Lumberjill match on Raw for the title, where Nikki goes for her first Divas championship. And she wins.
Look at that.
First championship.
I would much rather beat Beth Phoenix for my first title, so good for her.
At Extreme Rules, Brie would lose to Layla after the Twin Magic failed. So they tried to pull it. Don't work.
So the sister lost her sister's title for her. That sucks.
Yeah, and then the next night, Nikki would have to put that title on the line against Layla. And so Nikki's first reign would last literally 1 week as she drops the belt to Layla. To make things even worse, they're released from WWE on the last day of April in 2012. Executive Eve fired them to pursue other projects. That's what they were trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, they told the storyline was Eve was like, finally got you. I'm finally in a position I can extract revenge, but they really just wanted to go see what their worst was.
Yeah, do some reality shows.
Yeah.
You know, so they did some valet work in the indies at this point, you know, because they're released. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, they didn't wrestle in the indies. They would just accompany other wrestlers. So it was interesting.
Yeah, so they do their projects. March 11th, 2013, they return to WWE. They're in a backstage segment.
Not a long break.
With the Rhodes Scholars.
Oh, yeah.
But they come back, and yeah, they for a WrestleMania 29 match. They would start a feud with the Funkadelics, but then this would lead to a WrestleMania, 29 match for an 8-person.
And unfortunately, it was pulled for time. Ooh.
Dang.
See, I mean, what an interesting feud to come back to. They're with the Rhodes Scholars, and they're trying to, push Naomi and Cameron into wrestling too. They were the Brodus Clay dancers, but that's when he was starting to team with Tensai. Mm-hmm. So what a weird 8-woman intergender match.
June of 2013, Nikki breaks her tibia. Total Divas will also debut, so some good, some bad. At this point, the whole cast feuded with the Divas champ, AJ Lee, for Total Divas.
I remember AJ would call it a stupid show, and anybody that was on it was dumb, using it to their best abilities.
Yeah. Brie would lose a few title chances. She'd get some, she'd lose. Nikki would return. She'd also lose those title shots. They both failed to win the Divas Invitational match. AJ Lee would end up winning that.
This is when they were pushing AJ to the moon and back.
Mm-hmm. After Mania, Brie would become involved with Stephanie McMahon.
Oh, yeah. So this is when Daniel Bryan would get hurt.
Yeah.
So they would lean on Brie and Stephanie to push the Daniel Bryan Triple H storyline.
It was Daniel Bryan versus The Authority. Brie would quit WWE. Steph would then take that out on Nikki. Brie would then return to support Nikki and avenge her sister, setting up a match versus McMahon at SummerSlam.
They have they go deep into that on A&E's Rivals, and it's really good. The backstory of that SummerSlam match, very, very interesting.
And it would be at the SummerSlam where Nikki would actually turn on Brie to give Stephanie McMahon the win. Crazy.
It's fun stuff.
Survivor Series 2014, the twins would reunite. They always reuniting. Nikki would become the 2-time Divas champ. After defeating AJ Lee. So Nikki becomes the champ, and then she defeats AJ Lee, Paige, Naomi, to end 2014 and go into, 2015. At WrestleMania 31, we have AJ Lee and Paige versus the Bellas.
What a match.
Yeah. I'd have to, kind of want to see that.
Yeah.
AJ Lee and Paige would defeat the Bellas, though. So Bellas going out on their ass. They would then have a 2-month face turn as they faced Naomi and Tamina. And they would try and use the twin magic thing, again.
So it was the Bellas versus Naomi and Tamina, and then, the Bellas got the upper hand with adding Alicia Fox to Team Bella. But then Paige started coming around too, but Paige was kind of off on her own. So it was really the Bellas had the advantage here. They had 3. Naomi and Tamina were surviving. They had the 2, and then Paige was kind of off to herself. But then something happened.
Yeah. So after weeks of Team Bella versus Paige, Stephanie McMahon introduces something known as the Revolution. And that is where we get the introduction of Charlotte Flair.
I remember that Raw, man. That was
Becky
crazy.
Lynch. Sasha Banks debuts as Naomi and Tamina's ally.
So now the numbers are a little more even.
All these teams are fighting through the summer. There's a 3-team match at SummerSlam. And at that time, Paige, Charlotte, and Becky would win.
We knew that. But Team Bella was in second because it was an elimination. So Team Bella actually eliminated Paige's team, or actually eliminated Sasha's team, and then were eliminated by Paige's team.
At Night of Champions that year, Nikki would then drop that title to Charlotte. So, it's really starting.
She got the belt during all the beginning of the debuts of the Revolution, So, hey, good for her.
Yeah. Nikki would have the longest diva reign in history at 301 days after Charlotte beat her. That's pretty huge.
That is fantastic.
They would have a rematch at Hell in a Cell. Nikki would lose.
Of course.
Then Nikki would need some neck surgery, unfortunately.
They said that her finishing move where she'd put the rack, she'd put them on top, and she'd drop down. It would mess up her vertebra.
Yikes. Brie Bella and Alicia Fox would have some tag matches, but then they would split up at Fastlane 2016.
Yeah, no point really keeping them together.
Then Brie would start feuding with Lana, which would then lead to a 10-woman tag match at Mania 32. I mean, unreal.
Well, at least it's 10 and not 10 on 10. You know, at least that was just 5 on 5. But can you imagine building a feud around Brie and Lana?
Right.
Oof.
Right. April 6th of 2016, Brie Bella would announce that she would become more of just an ambassador to WWE.
Fair enough.
And then I know you left, this part out, but there is a moment where, 2017, where Nikki Bella, John Cena team up in a match at WrestleMania, in which John Cena then proposes at the very end to Nikki Bella. I feel like it just needs to
and
be
now they're
included.
going
I don't see it here on the
10 years
list.
strong, right?
I don't see it on the list, but that's part of WWE.
I think I was trying to save our boy Cena the shame.
They brought it in. They included us in, so...
I was trying to save our boy Cena some flashbacks, because he's a big fan. He watches this podcast.
Yeah, he does. Then at Raw, 25-year anniversary in January of 2018, the Bellas would be honored, so they'd come back. And again, at this point, I think her and Cena are still kind of involved. This would also be at the same time as the first Women's Royal Rumble debuting.
Got to be in that.
You got to be in that. And then, Nikki Bella would come back for a short feud with Ronda Rousey, in September of that.
I was weird I forgot about that, Was
that the first Evolution? Is that the...
I think so.
I think that was the main event. Nikki versus Ronda, right? Yeah. And then in March of 2019, they announced their in-ring retirement. They get into the Hall of Fame in 2020. And then, of course, like all WWE superstars, they come back for the 2022 Rumble. And Nikki was in the 2025 Rumble. Brie's in the 2026 Rumble. They're both seem to be on the road to WrestleMania 42. So listen, the story of the Bella twins is still unwritten.
It was a lot better history than I thought it was going to be. I had brain blocks thinking, the Brees, thinking the Bellas that didn't have a lot going on, but they were very instrumental there.
Dude, they rocked it out.
I think what hurt them is they would stop, like most lady wrestlers in the time and before them, they would start and stop their push so much. We'd get them a run of them and then they'd disappear for 6 months.
Right.
And not their fault. Creative projects didn't have anything for them.
Right.
So it's nice to go back and see what the women's division used to be. So we can be thankful for what we got now.
We got now. Yeah. Unreal. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been the life and times of Nikki and Brie Bella. From all of us here at the Spandex StandUps podcast. Pro wrestling rocks. Smash the like button. Drop a follow. We'll see you next time.